whatsoever. If you know he's coming back, you don't need to apply a tender that gives you consideration for your compensatory draft pick haul next year if he signs with another team, because you're not signing with another team. He's coming back. You don't need to do any of this. You made a chess move in a game that you didn't need to be playing if you know he's coming back. So I think that's the big takeaway for me. They clearly don't know what he's going to do, because if they did, there's no reason to apply this tender.
I do wonder how fast of a relationship did Rodgers develop with Mike Tomlin? I just think, because I think a lot of us assume Mike McCarthy goes back, like, we don't think Aaron Rodgers is just going to tell him. But I was thinking, hey, they have to have some kind of relationship of when he is going to make a decision that he'll know. But it just felt like with a year ago with Mike Tomlin, it felt like they had some type of relationship where Mike Tomlin kind of understood him. He understood Mike Tomlin, and they kind of figured things out, because I think that's the easiest way to deal with these situations, because especially when you I remember the first time I saw this tender was when we had LeGarrette Blount, and we were like, man, Blount had a big year. He's going to leave and he's going to get paid, and like nothing was happening. And then out of nowhere, it was like, oh man, I guess he has a great chance to be back. They just put some weird tender on him that none of us had ever heard of, and he ended up going to Philadelphia. But at that time, it was almost like the Patriots saw this opportunity of, well, we could probably still get this guy for what we want to pay him. He'll never agree to it probably, but if we put this tender, all right, we'll do this and it makes more sense and we'll get some. Not like all of those things where here it's like, does this really make sense to make this even more transactional than just relationship based on, let's just figure out on our own when Rodgers will come back, we'll have conversations with him. So like, it feels to me as if like, man, a year later removed, no Mike Tomlin there. It feels like this is more straight business of we have to figure this out based on last year was, hey, we're going to develop a relationship. We'll figure this out. So it makes me question even more, does Aaron Rodgers want to do that? Like, it felt like he liked the relationship last year, and that had a good amount to do with him coming back and playing football in Pittsburgh. And without that, I just wonder how much motivation he'll have to come back and want to play this year.
And again, all this gives the Steelers is credit if he leaves toward the extremely convoluted compensatory draft pick formula that is based on net gains and losses in free agency. If they hadn't applied the tender, he would have fallen out of the entire calculation, which is why we've seen reports of Russell Wilson visiting the Jets, Dante Fowler visiting the Seahawks. Those signings don't screw up the net free agent gains and losses for compensatory pick formulas, because some teams have cracked the code on it and realized we're getting free draft picks. If we work this board the right way, we get free picks. So, again, that's all it is. And don't take my word for it as if you ever do. Here's Art Rooney II, the owner of the Steelers, explaining why they used the unrestricted free agency tender on Aaron Rodgers.
The main thing that the tender gives us is potential for a comp pick. If Aaron would choose to go to another team, we don't expect that. But by the same token, you never know, and it's just something that we had an opportunity to protect if needed. The deadline was Monday, so if we were going to do it, we had to pull the trigger on Monday. We alerted Aaron and his representative that we were going to do it, and so. Not a real big deal, but just something that if in the unlikely event that he goes somewhere else, we are eligible for a comp pick in that situation.
I understand that. That's perfectly reasonable, but where the hell else is he going to go? Where's he going to go? Arizona would be one potential place. Is he really going to walk into the toughest division in football but for the Cardinals, frankly? You got the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Rams. Is he going to go there? This Denver thing bubbled up at one point, and hey, there was a story the same day they applied the UFA tender. There was a story about Bo Nix needing another surgery. I thought he was going to be fine. I thought he was back for OTAs. So I don't know. I don't know where else he's going to go. And there's been no indication he wants to go anywhere but Pittsburgh. The question is, does he want to come back to Pittsburgh without Mike Tomlin there? That's been the question from the get-go. And then they hire the coach that was with him for more than a decade in Green Bay. That's just where it's kind of like weird. And no one expected it to get to this point, Devin. We expected to know by now. A year ago, we kind of had an idea that they had come to an understanding when he visited the Steelers and met with Tomlin for 6 hours in March of 2025. And it's just a matter of getting through to the mandatory minicamp. This year, nobody knows, as evidenced by the fact the Steelers used this tender. They don't know, so they felt compelled to make this chess move to protect themselves in the event that he does sign somewhere else, because they just don't know.
And you tell me if I'm fishing. I thought it was interesting. He said, we alerted Aaron and his representative. It wasn't hey, we talked to Aaron and he understands, and we just alerted him. And I think that's the thing. When you're Aaron Rodgers' age, like, no, he's not going to Arizona. Like, Jacoby Brissett got beat up, got killed last year playing quarterback there. Like, there's no way you're going to choose to go play in that division. So when it seems like this is the only place you can go, you would think it's like, hey guys, like I'm not leaving to go anywhere else. I'm either here or I'm retiring. But when you don't have that and the team just tells you, hey, we're doing this because we don't know what you're going to do, it just seems more like what am I signing up to go do this for? Like I just don't feel this situation at all.
Yeah, we did it on a handshake last year. I gave them a hell of a bargain at $13 million, and now they're playing CBA chess with me. I don't like this. And remember, and Devin, we haven't addressed this specific wrinkle yet. If he doesn't sign that tender or sign with anyone else by July 22nd, the Steelers have exclusive negotiating rights. So if he was going to sit back and play the Phillip Rivers, Roger Clemens partial season game, now you got to go through the Steelers and trade for him. Now he's not going to be a free agent when we get to September, October, November. And after November 17, he can play for no one this year. No one. So if he was thinking, you know what, I'll just wait and maybe insert name of guy that I don't want to be accused of jinxing. If that guy tears his ACL and they're on track to make it deep into the playoffs, I can just go play then. I'll just do that. That's gone now. That's gone. They took that off the table, which would be reason for him to potentially be upset that they did that. All right.
What if the move that could make the Pittsburgh Steelers defense feel older, meaner, smarter, and way more dangerous is not some blockbuster trade at all, but a late free agency swing on Cameron Jordan? Aha! Now that is the kind of football conversation Steelers Nation was made for. Because once you realize Jordan is still unsigned and the Saints' own official roster lists him as an unrestricted free agent, the question becomes very real. Should Pittsburgh at least make the call? And when you stack that idea next to the fact that Cameron Heyward just signed a new 2-year deal with the Steelers, while TJ Watt is still one of the true game wreckers in football, yeah, you can already picture the attitude of that front. Not the secondary, really. The front, the grown man part of the defense, the part that makes quarterbacks rush, linemen panic, and offensive coordinators lose sleep. Now, let's get the reality check out of the way first, because your audience can smell fake hype from a mile away. Cameron Jordan is not on the Steelers. There's no official report saying Pittsburgh is signing him. But NFL.com reported in March that Jordan remained a free agent while still leaving the door open to a Saints return. And just a few days ago, NFL.com noted the Saints are moving forward with other edge options while Jordan remains unsigned. ESPN also still had him among notable free agents available this offseason. So this is not some dead rumor or made-up fantasy. This is a real veteran star still out there, still productive, and still relevant enough to be in the conversation for a contender-style defense. And that is where the Steelers angle gets juicy. Because Pittsburgh would not be asking Cameron Jordan to be the savior. That matters. The official Steelers roster still has TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, Cameron Heyward, Keanu Benton, Derek Harmon, and Jaquan Brisker in the building. That means Jordan would not have to walk in and carry the whole thing on his back. No, sir. He would walk into a defense with real leaders, real structure, and real wave potential. You could use him as a veteran edge presence, as an interior outside chess piece in some fronts, as a heavy-handed early down run defender, and as a rotational pressure piece when the season gets long and nasty. Aha, that is what makes this fit so interesting. And let's talk about what this would actually look like on the field, because that is the fun part. Imagine Cameron Heyward inside bringing that power and veteran command. Imagine T.J. Watt screaming off the edge, forcing protections to slide his way. Now imagine Cameron Jordan lining up on the other side or moving around depending on the package, giving you another heavy, violent, experienced presence who still knows how to win with technique and strength. That is not just a pass rush, that is a personality. That is a front that says you are gonna feel us for 4 quarters. Add Jaquan Brisker behind that front, a safety the Steelers officially signed in March, and now you get more downhill aggression, more disguise, more confidence to heat up the pocket because the back end has another physical tone setter. That is how a defense starts looking scary before the snap even happens. And do not sleep on the production side either. NFL.com's free agent rankings pointed out that Jordan recorded 10.5 sacks in 2025 at age 36 and highlighted the fact that durability has basically defined his entire career, with only 2 missed games over 15 seasons. Yeah, that's huge, because with veteran defenders, the first question is always, does he still have something left? In Jordan's case, the answer looks a lot more alive than people assume. This would not be a nostalgia move if Pittsburgh did it. It would be a calculated move for a veteran who can still help you win snaps, help you survive injuries, and help you keep your edge room fresh deep into the season. Now, I know the pushback from Steelers fans already. Why bring in Cameron Jordan when you already have Highsmith and Herbig? Easy answer. Because depth on the edge is not a luxury, it's survival. Seasons are long, bodies get hit, rotations matter, and the Steelers have never been the kind of franchise that should apologize for having too many nasty defenders. If anything, Jordan would make more sense because Pittsburgh would not need to overplay him. They could use him smartly, they could pick spots, they could preserve Watt and Highsmith more. They could create matchup packages. They could go bigger against run-heavy teams. They could kick Jordan around and let his football IQ do work. That is where veterans still earn their money, not just in the stat sheet, but in the flexibility they give your whole unit. And the culture fit, oh man, that's maybe the best part. Cameron Jordan has spent his career as a strong personality, a respected veteran, and a tone guy in New Orleans. Cameron Heyward is the exact same kind of force in Pittsburgh. Put those two in the same room with T.J. Watt, Patrick Queen, Highsmith, and Jaquan Brisker, and now you're talking about a defense with grown man leadership all over it. Not fake rah-rah stuff, real accountability, real edge, real understanding of what winning defense is supposed to feel like. That kind of chemistry doesn't show up on a spreadsheet, but Steelers fans know it when they see it. And when Pittsburgh defenses feel connected, they feel different. So my final take is simple, Steelers Nation. Cameron Jordan to Pittsburgh is not official, not leaked, not secretly done, and I'm not going to sell it like it is. But as a football idea, as a late free agency strike, as a move that could make the defensive front with Cameron Heyward and T.J. Watt even more dangerous, yeah, I absolutely get it. If the price is right, if the role is clear, and if Jordan wants one more real shot inside a serious defensive structure, the Steelers should at least think hard about it. Because a front with Heyward, Jordan, and Watt would not just look tough on paper, it would feel nasty on Sundays. Now, I want to hear from you. Would you bring Cameron Jordan to Pittsburgh, or would you roll with the current edge group and trust the depth already in the building? Drop your opinion in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe for more Pittsburgh Steelers news, reactions, and black and gold content.